plant, or the tree? Is it a tree or a plant?
It's a tree.
It's a tree. He'd be giggling at me now because he knows I absolutely have no idea about this. So let's start with, you have all different types of Japanese maple. What is the first one we have here on the right?
This variety is called Sangokaku. It's different than a lot of the other Japanese maples in the fact that it has a red stem. So obviously in the winter when it doesn't have leaves, you've got a bit more sort of visual interest to have in the garden.
Okay, right. And what sort of soil would I plant that into?
They like a slightly acid soil, but it's not. It doesn't actually need to have it. It
and
prefers
would you introduce a bit of acid soil into the area you're planting it into?
Yes, I would. I'd either plant it in, say, peat, or you can add camellia rhododendron granules to the soil maybe once a year to just change the acidity.
Oh right, okay.
It's not. It's not. You don't need to have it. It just prefers.
And how high would that grow?
That variety there does grow to about 6 meters.
Right. Okay. So it's it'll grow big now.
Yes, but they're relatively slow growing. So
are they?
Yes, that would be based over say 20 years. Again, you can keep them pruned to maintain the size, keep the size down.
Okay. And would somebody now be using that? They wouldn't be using that as a screen in the garden, would they? Or what? Where would I plant that in my garden? I suppose what I'm thinking.
The maples would prefer a shady, sheltered spot.
Okay.
Hence, we're in a shade tunnel, just to keep them protected from the wind and to stop the sun scorching the leaves. Where they have quite fine, delicate leaves, the sun can burn these then if they're in full sun.
Okay, so we've moved from this particular one again, the Sangokaku.
Yes.
Okay, and this is which?
That's Red Emperor.
That's really, now, I love this.
Yes.
Red Emperor, it sort of suits the name, you know.
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, and what's the difference between this and the Sangokaku?
Obviously, primarily different colours, yeah. You've got a dark burgundy sort of blacky stem on that as opposed to the red stem on the Sangokaku.
Okay, now again this will lose its leaf.
They all lose their leaves, yes.
Okay, and how high will this grow?
That one there is 2 to 3 metres.
Right, okay, so that, and how high will it grow to again? 6 metres or?
No, 2 to 3 metres.
Oh, that's,
yes.
So this would be more then for a decorative part in the garden, would it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
You can make nice oriental gardens, obviously with the Japanese maples.
Yeah.
They're quite contemporary sort of looking plant.
It's quite contemporary.
They're very soft. They can soften the gardens very well.
Yes. Okay. So let's move down the way then. We're going to look at another. Oh, well here we have the babies.
Smaller versions of. We have them in different sizes, obviously.
So this again is this is a different type of Japanese maple again.
Yes, this variety here is called Azakazuki.
Right.
All these sort of Japanesey, Chinesey names.
And do people use this now just for the style of that? It's going to go into the garden as just a focal point, like, or something, or onto your terrace.
You're buying this obviously at a more reasonable cost than buying a big one.
Right, and you can control the size on that. So visually, you could have it at that size all the time.
You can keep them to a certain size, obviously.
Right.
The Azakazuki is known for having really good autumn foliage, so it will go a really nice orangey red colour.
Oh, lovely. Oh, I see. Okay.
See the label there?
Yeah.
It always has this little red tint to a green leaf.
And is that deciduous then in winter?
Again, deciduous.
Yeah. But it gives you a bit of seasonal change with it then, which is rather nice for the garden. Right.
Again, this is the larger version of the same plant.
Right, okay. Again, it's very nice, isn't it? You could have that as a focal point in the garden or on the terrace of an apartment. That'd be very nice.
If it wasn't too windy.
Yeah, so you have to be careful the way your terrace is facing.
Yeah.
You know, to use this.
As I say, very fine leaves, can get dried out the wind very easily. That's one of the larger leaf varieties. This variety here, this is garnet, which a lot of people would know. Very, very fine little leaves on those.
Now this is very Japanese feeling about it, isn't it?
Yes.
It's very delicate leaves. Tell me about this. This is what? Acer...
Garnet. It's a dissectant variety which describes the dissected leaf, the very fine leaf.
Right. Very decorative.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, that has to be in a shady area.
They prefer the shade.
Shade, okay. And then you're moving on to, what's this over here? This is an enormous one.
That's obviously a very mature specimen.
Yeah.
That is Acer palmatum dissectum.
Right.
which is the plain green version of the garnet.
Okay. It's very
As you can see,
attractive.
this is probably 25 years old,
Yeah.
so not an overly tall, but you can shape them and style them into bonsai sort of style tree
Right.
to really make a nice effect in a garden, then coupled with, say, bamboos, ferns, buxus.
Yeah.
Again, with the gravel, you can get a very Japanese feel to it.
Yeah, I can see the way you've set it up here, which is very nice. Yeah, even the crunch of the gravel when you walk over. Do you know what I'm intrigued at is the actual bark or the actual trunk of this tree. It's lovely and curved.
It's been shaped that way.
Has it?
Yes. And obviously when you buy a smaller tree like this, you can manipulate them into a shape to give you the bonsai style effect.
But isn't that very nice if you're creating an area in the garden? It's different to your normal.
No, yes, exactly.
Do you know
rather
what I
than
mean?
Straight up tree.
Yeah, it's a nice architectural sort of thing. And then is this again the same? This is a bigger version.
Yeah, that's a variety called Tamayukiyama, and that variety grows to about 4 meters.
Did you study Japanese?
No, no.
Because you're brilliant at these Tamayukinapi. I mean, well done to you, Toby. And this is, again, tell me about this.
That's, say, it's got a weeping habit that's very similar to the dissectum and the garnet.
Yeah.
It's just obviously taller variety than those two.
Yeah, and it has a weep. You mean it drops over?
It just,
doesn't
with
it?
the branches, weep down, yes.
It's very nice though, isn't it?
And again, you've got some bends in the stem here, which
Yeah.
you can start. You use it as a basis to create something like the bonsai style with the bends in.
Right, okay. They're slow growing, so you know you'd be able to sort of get that shape into them.
Yes.
Would you? Yeah.
Oh, we do have here
These babies.
ones that have been shaped already.
Wow,
I don't know if you can see that there, but it's actually got a
Absolutely.
curly sort of stem, which obviously as the tree matures and the stem thickens, that will maintain that shape.
What
and
a
you can,
fabulous present for somebody.
yeah,
It's
definitely.
so
yeah.
different, isn't
And
it?
saves you years as well.
Yeah. And listen, would you leave that in the pot now, or would you put it into the soil?
They do well in both. Obviously, long term, everything prefers to be in the ground.
Okay.
By keeping it apart, you are going to sort of semi-bonsai it by restricting the root growth and the amount of nutrients it gets.
Right, but it can stay in the pot if you wanted to, as
Yes.
a decorative thing.
As a patio
As
plant,
a
it's
patio
very yes.
plant. That's what I was just
Coupled
thinking.
with, say, it looks really nice in pots with hostas and other sort of rich foliagey plants which like the shade.
Right, okay, and yet this creates that lovely sort of.
You
I
don't-
love that movement.
You don't really
thing
get a
with-
rustle off it, but you can see the visual movement, yes.
Exactly,
Yeah.
yeah. And then is this the same thing but with the straight?
Again, it's the same variety. Well,
Same
it's
variety.
Acer palmatum dissectum,
Yeah.
just different sizes, different forms. Obviously, it's not bent into this curly
Yeah,
shape.
curly shape.
Yeah.
And then again, this is. What have we got here?
That's-
Is there a slight variation in the leaf here?
That's the
Or-
garnets. Yeah, they always kind of start off green, go to red, and then over the season
Very
they change
nice.
colours again. In the autumn, you get a different colour again.
Right. Well, you know what? You've really introduced us to a whole new part of gardening and trees, and this whole Oriental feel.
Yes, I mean there is a
to
world
the-
of varieties here. We have about 40 varieties here. Everyone is different.
So come out to Tully's and have a look at what you've got out here, and your
Definitely.
expertise in the area is absolutely terrific, particularly for somebody like me who absolutely has no idea, but I've no coming in that, yeah, I might buy that as a present, or I'd use that as a focal point in my garden. Toby, thanks a million.
No problem, Gavin. Thank you.